Yeah,
All right, so
we're back in front of the big screen.
for another top game list.
Yes. Today, top three.
At the best handheld of all time.
Indeed. You know what that is? I'll give you a hint.
It's here, the revolutionary Neo Geo Pocket Color. With 16-bit power, linkable to the Sega Dreamcast. Revolving joystick. 146 color display. 6 cool styles. The graphics will blow you away. Neo Geo Pocket, way ahead of the game.
The
Neo. Go ahead.
Geo Pocket Color
Yes.
with a clicky analog that can't be beat.
Cannot. And a little tour of the system, because not everyone might be familiar. That's what a cartridge for it looks like. It's very Game Boyish. It's got, 2 AA's. Has a watch battery to keep the system time and all that. But the clicky. That is one of the best analog clicks I've ever heard.
Never been redone, and it needs to be.
And so yeah, like I said, pretty Game Boyish. 2 buttons. They're nice. You've got, what else did we have? Volume, headphone, and then the little you could put it into a wall right there on the bottom, little tiny hole there. And I forgot what the external thing was for.
It's a link cable.
Link cable? Yeah, I don't think.
Link cable.
Did we ever do it?
No.
I don't think we ever did it. It'd probably be fun.
I think
We should do
there's-
that sometime.
And then screen is not backlit.
No, it's
Mine.
not.
Mine, however, is modded with a backlit screen.
Is it
Highly recommend.
your power?
Should. The power button's on the front.
Yeah, that's right. Wow, it's been a while. One of my favorite
Best
systems.
system ever. How do you turn it on?
I don't think the batteries are good.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, we won't. But that's it. It's a reflective screen. Very cool system. So
And since there was a very limited amount of games, we're cutting our list down to top 3.
top 3.
And once again, kind of like the Xbox list, this is our top 3, kind of probably based on, personally, playtime, enjoyment. So
Yeah. And like you said, this system it came out. It didn't last long because I believe SNK USA they closed down in the
Yep,
U.S.
they shut down,
and that was it. It was a system I remember. It was everywhere, Walmarts and all over the place. Had a small library,
poof.
and that was it. And it was so good though at the time. It was my favorite by far, and I wish they could have taken it further. But anyway, top 3 from each of us. Let's get started. My number 3. I'm gonna just do it random. No, I'm
He's
not.
probably picking like one of the Mahjong games or
I am.
one of the.
So here we are. Match of the Millennium, SNK versus Capcom. It was a fighting game. Was I very good at it? Like any fighting game, not really, but it was fun. Granted, you do have to go into it knowing, hey, there's 2 buttons to work with. So, in terms of this, compared to the normal Marvel Capcom,
It had most of the main ones though, because
It did.
if you did a short tap, I believe it was like a little bit weaker of the unit, the long tap, but it was one of the only ways I've ever been able to pull off like Zangief's moves. Because you could do the 360
Yes.
on the quickie analog so easily compared to anything else.
I'm a beast with the 2 buttons.
Yeah. No, and this I think
But-
I want to say it had, I think over 20 fighters.
Yeah,
It was-
and they all look very, very similar. Like you'll notice, Samurai Showdown.
Yeah, they had this style
Yeah.
for all their fighting games, but they ran so smooth.
They did, and it was a good thing. Like that was a good thing. I mean, it was kind of a like animated, a little bit, more cartoony, but It worked. It worked, and you could see the backgrounds were colorful, and um, yeah, it was awesome. And for me to say that about a fighting game, because I don't get into them very much, I think is says something about it.
One of the best, and still, whenever I fire up my Neo Geo, this is one I go back to.
Hmm. That was my number 3.
All right, my number 3,
Uh-huh.
Neo Geo Cup '98. So, unlike most sports games, this one you actually got to get better equipment for your guys in the season mode. So they could run faster, kick harder. You get different equipment for all the different players. All your players had different stats. So when you first started a season, your team was just garbage, really. And then you slowly leveled up. As you can see, there's not all the guys look identical, but
But look at the detail on a system like this. For the guys, like I mean, that's pretty impressive.
yeah, and then it had
You
the
know?
cool, fun cutscenes. I mean,
Uh-huh.
I don't know. I put way too much time into this one, just being a simple
Yeah.
sports game. But the fact that you could buy new equipment for your players, just I
Mm-hmm. Adds a
played
little,
this, yeah.
little bit of a touch of simulation to it. One kind of unique thing about this, though, like you can even see right here, is you don't know where you're going. You're kicking the ball, and then
zoomed in pretty far.
yeah, somebody might just appear. So adds kind of a different element than FIFA, where you can see half the field at one time. But very well done, very responsive controls, great graphics. I mean, even the field, they didn't have to color it differently and textured and stuff, but they put a lot into it.
That was my number 3.
And what a good number 3! I'll give you that. All right, number 2. You ready? I'm not going to have to move far. One click, but except it didn't do it. All right.
Oh,
Neo Turf Masters. I played this one constantly, kind of like him in the soccer. This golf was awesome because
the graphics. I mean, this was up against Game Boy Color.
yep, and that's
I mean,
after your shot, you watch it fall. You got a little map on the side of that whole course. Not the entire course,
And-
but the whole. But
and it played almost just like its actual arcade Neo Geo counterpart, just with the more cartoony graphics.
But you can see, you can position your feet, you can pick your irons, you see how the distance, how many yards it can fly. You have sand wedges, you get stuck in the bunkers, trees. You have to putt, and there's slopes on the putting. I mean, they nailed it all, and this was way back then. And
I want to say there was wasn't there 3 full courses on this game or something?
I think
I think
so.
one of them was like a desert course, like a canyon.
yeah, it was good, and it was challenging. Not overly so to be irritating, but it would definitely keep you going for a while. But yeah, I love this one. That's my number 2, Turf Masters.
All right, so my number 2 is one that I'm not even sure if you ever played.
The one that I can't read.
Yep.
And we did keep it to U.S. games, by the way, U.S. releases, because
Yeah,
well,
I mean,
that's
well,
what we played. But
yeah, there's a few European releases that
Yeah.
are English, but still.
yeah,
So, you know,
facility.
yeah, I assume it's facile. I don't know.
I like this game a lot, but I don't know what it's called. Oh,
Turn-based RPG, or probably a little more strategy, turn-based strategy. But the kicker was, this was the first turn-based game I played where you would you chose your moves in order. So you'd tell your mech forward, turn right, shoot. Like that's what these little tiles are. And you choose when to shoot. And then you would submit your turn, kind of like a turn-based game. However, the bad guys moved at the exact same time, like they submitted the turns at the same time as you. So you could have just walked off, turned to the right, and you're firing at nothing because the bad guy went to the left. So that's why I liked it, because I never played another game like that where you're trying to predict the enemy movement, and it was just fun. And then you get to upgrade your mechs, better weapons,
Nice.
and everything. But
No, I did not play it.
Yeah, it was the very first turn-based game I played like that, where you had to try to predict the other person's moves.
Nice.
And not many games since have even done that. Sadly, this game though it's a very expensive game now if you want to get a hold of it. I think it's a couple $100 to get the English version now. But
Oh well.
I have it, so
I'll play yours.
I guess you'll just have to trust me that it was a lot of fun.
I mean, it looks good. I can imagine enjoying that, being able to plan ahead.
It was just different.
I was gonna say it's got to have some pretty unknown elements when you're planning ahead, and then it.
Yeah, like you could choose to use one of your big weapons that you only have a couple shots of, and you just shot it the complete wrong direction because the guy went the other way. It's cool.
You're a doofus mech.
Yeah.
But yeah, I bet I would enjoy that. Number 1, here we go. Not falling too far from the tree. Card Fighters Clash. He probably knew I was going to put this on my list somewhere because I never stopped playing it. There were 2 versions of it. There was the Capcom version and the SNK version.
And the only difference ended up being your starting deck, I believe. The starting card. You still could get all the cards for either game, but it was your starter card set.
So, if I had to pick one, like I said, I'd pick Capcom just because I was more familiar with the characters. That's the only difference. They were both fun. It reminds me of that.
Marvel Snap, isn't it?
Yeah, Snap. So if you played Snap, this was kind of like, honestly, probably the inspiration behind it.
Yeah, you had 3 lanes. You had 3 lanes you could put your cards in, attack, and then you also had boost cards. You could boost fighters by stacking them in. You can see a little bit.
There's the playing area.
The cards had different strength, so that when they battled, it would compare the two, and then it was like
this one came forward into battle. He's targeting.
Yeah, he'd choose, I think, who to defend him with. And then it was cool because just the amount of characters, and then some of the characters were support cards to buff your players, and
you knock them out. But yeah, it really does. Looking back, it does play a lot like that Snap game.
And it was a RPG really, because it was like kind of like a Pokemon setup where you walked around and found the next battle and went to new tournaments and made your deck better and better.
Yep.
But yeah, I know I loved this game too.
Yeah. I hadn't played
great.
anything like it to that point. I never really got into the. I hate to admit it, never got into the Pokemon craze and stuff like that. So in terms of cards and card battles, this was my first really, and
I think at this time I played a little bit of actually Magic the Gathering, so it was cool to have like a stripped down, quick play version of it.
Yeah.
In ways, it was,
So, but yeah, that was awesome. Even to this day, this game holds up. If you have a chance to play it, I highly recommend it.
It's very good, and it's easy to come by too. I know that because this is one of the top sellers. We'll go to my number 1.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we're back. So,
this game literally you'd have to beat it several times. Every time you beat it, you would unlock a puzzle piece, and when you filled out the puzzle, you unlocked that character. I had to have put over 20 hours in this game, and I'm not amazing at fighting games. I'm decent, but this one I was pretty solid at because I played so much. So
I'm there. It was on my list.
I just had to go by the amount of sheer hours I put into this game as to why it had to go to my number 1, because it was.
Yeah, again, I know we said it earlier, but most fighting games on here, you even see like the SNK gals. There was Samurai Showdown.
There's
and-
Fatal Fury, King of Fighters, and that was the thing. There's so many really good ones.
Yeah,
This one just had the most characters.
yeah.
Like,
Right.
and there's Last Blade. Samurai Showdown was really good too, but I think it only
Mhm.
had 8 characters, I believe.
Yeah.
But it played like all the fighting games in this played amazing. Honorable mentions.
You want to go ahead first?
Well, I think I will change one of mine.
You can't.
I had
It's in stone.
because we already talked about it. I put Card Fighters Clash as my honorable mention. That was a borderline game. So I will change mine to, this was another one that was pretty borderline. Metal Slug second mission. First mission was awesome. Second mission was
Yeah.
just more and a little bit better. I mean, I love Metal Slug. The weird thing when you go back and play this Metal Slug though is you actually have a life meter, so you can get hit 3 times where Metal Slug you can't. You get hit once you die. But yeah, I mean, it played excellent. The graphics looked really good. I mean, they had this sprite animation style down for the capabilities of the system.
Yeah.
And I mean, I loved it. This thing was both. I mean, you can't go wrong with either one. This one just had a little bit more to it than first mission on the system.
Mm-hmm.
And that was purely it. I mean, I'd gladly play either one. but-
Yeah. This was this close to making my honorable mentions list too. I pondered it just for the same reasons he said. The thing about this system, the controls are so responsive on that. And that's what really made the fighting games, this game, I mean, because this game does take some, quick action reflexes and
Yeah, the performance, all the games. There wasn't any games that I've ever played on there that I was like, oh, this doesn't feel right.
Yeah.
Like if you go to like some Game Boy Advance games where they're trying to push the power and so it's just
the quality
work.
was through the roof on this system. And that's what made games like this work. Like, honestly, looking at the list of games that did come out, I don't think I could name a bad game.
no. There's like some casino games.
Yeah.
But if you eliminate those,
But even those played well for
Yeah.
what they were. I mean, it just can't. I mean, it's the best. My honorable mention, one of them is gotta go with Sonic.
yeah.
Sonic played extremely well on this system. You got to remember at this point, it had already been through Genesis and Game Gear and stuff like that. So this was kind of an ode to the Genesis version, I would say, and played extremely fast.
Yeah, this one played fast. The control, I mean,
Yeah,
Like we
I mean,
said,
you can see there, no slowdown. It did it, and to have that on a handheld like that, and the only thing that would have made it better that neither of us had at the time was the screen being lit up. You had to come up with your own light source if you're playing it, in the dark or something. But if you could get it to where the colors shine and stuff, man, this was an awesome game. Great version of it.
yeah. I mean, that one's pretty popular. This one you can get because I think it came with a lot of the U.S.
Yep.
launch
Yep.
ones. All right, one, I have a feeling this honorable mention, I don't know if you played this one either.
Oh man.
Biomotor
I
Unitron.
Yeah, I remember it, but I don't think I did play it.
So it was an RPG that you kind of moved into slowly, but it was honestly like their version of Pokemon in a way. Like you got different arms for your robot, and the different arms were the different types. Like there was a fire arm, a water arm, and things like that. And you upgrade your arms before you go to battle. So then you fight more like a Pokemon style. And it looks like our video sadly
I was
doesn't
gonna
show,
say,
doesn't show
I was
any.
sitting there watching it.
It doesn't show
waiting.
any gameplay.
No, but we're
except
gonna
the
watch
story.
her talk.
So, but I think you ultimately are building up a robot to go to a final tournament, like Pokemon, and might not be the best game there was, but I put way too much time into this one too. it was just purely on time. I don't think it's the most fun gameplay wise, but if you want their version of what was going to be their Pokemon ripoff, it was this. There was a sequel that came out, but sadly it only made it out in Japan, and that looked like it had a lot cooler stuff and a lot of add-ons. Yeah, see, you can talk to Mermaid Lady
and over and over again,
and
apparently.
Old Man Elf, that's the gameplay.
She keeps apologizing for something she did.
Yeah.
All right. So my last one, and another one, I mean, I almost hate to pick one because it is a mainstream one. My other honorable mention, Puzzle Bobble. Also, Bust a Move, right?
Yep, Bust a Move, Puzzle Bobble,
and you know, I know everybody's played that on most systems that have been out since the beginning of time, but
it's a good version of it.
It was.
It had the combo break, so you played versus, you'd knock extra one down and go up and knock some more down to go to the other person's screen. This one actually does work the link cable. Never did it, but
yeah,
I will say this got a lot of time in mine, and my wife stole my Neo Geo several times. Like, even it was like a couple years ago, took it and just played this nonstop on there.
I'm glad you said that, not she stole it and like sold it or
no, it's right here
or threw it out.
Yeah,
or something.
No, that's a good one.
Yeah, awesome game. You know, even the artwork. I mean, that I know it doesn't look as impressive here, but back then, again, that was.
I mean, keep in mind that's blown up
on that tiny screen.
You know, all these new emulator handhelds and everything most of them have like this entire collection. The problem is you don't get this thing.
Yeah.
Like, I've played the Neo Geo Pocket games on my analog Pocket. They look awesome. It's just not the same. It might be upscaled. Like, Bust a Move and stuff, sure. Play those types of games all day on analog. The clicky analog doesn't really make a gameplay difference.
No.
But when you're playing like the Metal Slug, Sonic, any of the fighting games, that's night and day. I mean, I can't do it. It hurts. It hurts to do it.
And there is a lot of nostalgia in that you hear it and then you remember, you relate it to a system like this where, like I said, almost everything was awesome on it, and it just that sound means quality.
Yeah.
You know, and it really did hurt when they just packed up SNK USA and that was it. It was just gone. And you know, who knows? I never looked into the why, but because I thought it was doing pretty well. It seemed like people were buying it.
I think the parent company went down, so they just chopped it off.
Yeah.
I mean,
you know,
sadly, it's what we got, and then
but great system. If you guys can pick one up or try one, like you said, you can play the emulators, but it's kind of neat to try one.
And if you do play the emulators, these games are great.
Yeah.
If you haven't given them a chance yet, you're not gonna really miss, I don't think.
Yeah.
There's only a couple of games I haven't played on here. And that's simply because a couple of them they weren't translated to English. Like Ogre Battle, which I always thought looked good, but it's full Japanese. And then Biomotor Unitron 2. And then there's even a King of Fighters Mario Party type game, which I think would be easy if you knew how to play each of the mini games. But I can't read Japanese, so.
And I have to say, even in that short window it was released in the U.S., they brought out the right games. You know, I mean, they brought out the heavy hitters at the time. I mean, even a lot of times you get a version of Pac-Man, and I know it's Pac-Man, but if you've played a bad version of Pac-Man where it's not just responsive, you know, around those corners, it ruins the entire game. This version, another fantastic, you know, Pac-Man.
And with Pac-Man, they even released a little ring that went around the analog stick to not let it go diagonals. It made it a 4-way ring.
Yeah. And it's that attention to detail that made this whole system fantastic. Pocket Tennis. You know, we were
Yeah.
talking about that earlier.
Pocket tennis was great. I mean,
You know, and that, I mean, I know we're doing, I guess, more honorable mentions. We're just showing all the, you know, that was fun. And it just, I can't stress how it doesn't seem like there were any bad games. And there was a little something for everybody.
yeah, I mean, you know, there's not much.
Mhm.
I didn't play anything that I was like, this game sucks, and I want to go back and try it again.
Yeah. What was it, like 30 games or something on there that came out?
Something like this.
Like,
Crazy.
I
low.
would almost challenge you to pick the first 30 games on any system. And I don't
Well,
think.
and then, like in Japan, they got the Mega Man or Rockman Battle Fighters,
Yeah.
which it's fun. It's good. And then they got, they did get Evolve, which was a Dreamcast RPG, which also, that was the other thing, it did link with Dreamcast,
Which I never did.
which I think only like a couple games did. I never did it because Evolution was going to be one.
Yeah. Let us know what you think. Subscribe. Please hit the notification
Like-
button.
And go track one of these bad
Track
boys
one of them down. Check it out. We hope you enjoyed our top 3. And if you like these kind of videos, they're fun. Let us know. We'll keep doing them.
Yeah, and this one didn't give you a choice to pick absolutely garbage games because there wasn't
I know.
any.
I know.
So, till next time.